What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show with Xavier and Nicholas. Guys, it is UFC 314 fight week. We were just talking about this before the pod started. This one just feels different. This card coming up. This is a banger. This one feels a little special. Card is pretty stacked top to bottom. Bunch of storylines going into it. Let's start at the tippy top, guys. The vacant 145-pound belt is on the line. Diego Lopez versus Alexander Volkanovski, the former champion. Ilya Topuria did vacate the belt. What are you guys' thoughts on this fight and just kind of briefly Ilya leaving the belt for these two to fight over?
You can start the soft part.
Wait, what was the question?
So like how do you feel about them fighting over a vacant belt?
Uh, nah, I think it's cool. It's a fresh new matchup. I'm cool. I'm cool with Vulcan, like his redemption, because he never lost the featherweight belt really until Taboria knocked him out. So I think he deserves to like at least rematch for it. And it's against the guy who I think had the best chance to beat Ilya in this division. So I think it's a great matchup, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I got my pick coming up. I got my pick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For me, I'm a little disappointed that like you said, Taporio didn't at least stay to fight Lopez. I felt like had he fought Lopez, him leaving the division would have felt fine to me. But the fact that he just didn't fight him kind of like we know that like Diego Lopez is like the next deserving challenger for that belt. So of course Volk was gonna get his rematch. He deserved that. So this kind of makes sense, like you said. I do wish like Ilya at least fought Lopez, but this is like the second best thing at this point.
Yeah.
We're gonna see like how ready he really is. We're gonna see like what Volk still has left in the tank. He's taking a lot of time off between like those two knockouts to like really get himself back together. So I think that we're gonna see a Volk that is a little more durable than he's been in his last couple. Um, yeah, so I'm really excited to see this fight at the end of the day. I just do wish like Taporia fought one more against Lopez.
Yeah, I agree. Either him or what's his name? Imamov. But anyways, to counter that, I feel like no one really is talking about Ilya right now. They're just talking about this fight specifically, which is I think is the right thing. This fight is sick. I don't think that storyline really plays into it at all. The only issue is if kind of got the belt back, but if Lopez wins, fresh new champion. Let's get into the X's and O's, guys. We obviously have to start with Volk's return. As you mentioned, Xavier, he's coming off some pretty bad losses. Um, he's looked okay in he looked okay in the Ilya fight until he got caught, but he did take the time off. Really dangerous opponent. What are your guys' thoughts on Volk coming into this fight?
Yeah. I mean, Volk, the thing is like I have yet to see him like besides I guess the Makachev fight, really like outskilled in his division in any of these fights. Um, so like even like with losing very quickly to Islam or even with getting quickly knocked out by Topuria, like it wasn't like I seen like Volk has lost a step so much as like it was just he got clipped and his chin wasn't the same, right? So I don't know like how fast Volk's gonna be, how quick he's gonna be, how he's gonna trust himself in there, how he's gonna move, if he's gonna be able to like slip punches the same way. I'm not like all of these are question marks at this point because in the last two performances he kind of got finished quick and we never got to see like him fight for an extended time and like work himself into the fight. And I think that to me that's like the main storyline of this fight is can Volk weather an early Diego Lopez storm and kind of work his way into the fight? I think if he can settle in, then I favor him to win. You know what I mean? But for me, it's like all about can he survive a blitz because that's basically how he's lost his last two.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. I'm not like super concerned with Volk like dropping in skill level. Like I think some people think he has. Um, I feel like the bigger question is psychologically, how is he gonna react when he gets in there in a brawl? Because Lopez is gonna bring that brawl no matter what happens. He's gonna bring the brawl in that fight, and I think Volk's gonna have to overcome those moments of getting knocked down the last few. And his chin, it's gonna get tested, and that's probably the bigger concern here. But skill wise, still good. He's looking ripped on embedded coming into this week, so training looks pretty good. I think he's gonna come out there and look good, but I don't know. I don't know about this one.
Yeah. The
About this.
thing the thing is, like you guys mentioned, Volk is probably a more skillful fighter still than Diego Lopez. It's just the chin, man. It's the chin and the age. And that's how Diego fights, man. He's a thumper. He leaves it all out there. He swings with power. And yeah, Volk is still probably a better fighter, but man, let's just get to the picks. I feel like we're all kind of alluding to it, guys. I'll
Uh,
start. I'll break the ice. I got Diego Lopez by knockout. Um, I think Lopez's or Volk's chin is it's not gonna be able to handle it. I don't think Volk's washed, but I just don't think he's gonna be able to survive 25 minutes with Diego Lopez. I know there have been the gas tank issues, but I don't think this leaves 3 rounds, man. I got Lopez by KO.
Take
here,
it, Bart.
yeah, I'm obviously picking Lopez, and I know X probably gonna go with Volk, but I'm picking Lopez. He's on my team, on my fantasy team. We're about to roll through here and just win a belt off one fight this year and hang that's a nice, draft pick by myself. But in reality, I just think Volk is like his style is used to like darting in and like getting in the opponent's face. And like what I saw from I feel like if it was before the Ortega fight, I probably would have taken Volk. But I just saw a very composed Lopez in that fight, let Ortega come to him, dropped him twice, and just, I thought, fought a masterful fight. And I think he could do the same thing to Volk. And especially like Volk's chin right now is just very questionable. And I said it before, I think Lopez is just as dangerous as Taporia, especially in the first round.
Man, for me, I am gonna, have to maybe be the one to foolishly hold on one fight too long, but I'm gonna take Volk. This is last chance watch. But I'm just gonna think that Volk. I like City Kickboxing. I like Eugene Behrman. He usually is really good at coming up with game plans for his fighters. Izzy's game plans are always on point. Like for the longest, like Volk's game plans are always on point. Like even in his losses, like he's always on point game plan wise. I think that he kind of understands like where the danger is here. I think he kind of knows that like, his chin has been failing him recently and that's really the biggest issue. So he has to like be I think we're gonna see a Volk that's a little more careful. You mentioned the Brian Ortega fight for Lopez, but like as much as like Ortega's my boy and as much as he made a lot of improvements in the striking, he's not nearly as dangerous a striker as Volk is and doesn't have nearly as many tools in his arsenal, I would say. So I felt like that was a bad matchup for Ortega coming forward because like Lopez can crack, you know what I mean? And like he's not the best striker, especially with coming off the layoff he was on, but I think Volk is going to be a little bit more defensively sound here. I see him just protecting against big shots, and I think if he keeps that as his biggest priority early, just avoiding the big shots, maybe like accepting that you're probably gonna like have to break him late, but like knowing that like rather than try to get your offense on and establish a tempo, maybe be a little okay fighting off the back foot a little bit, mixing in the grappling, um just anything to kind of like tire Lopez out. I think that I trust Volk to have a game plan based around like survival now that he knows that he can't trust the chin. I think that these Aussies, man, these foreign whites, they sometimes trust the chin a little too much. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a pride thing. And for so long it was working for him. Volk, rugby guy, tough guy, been a tough guy, rugged guy his whole life. You know what I mean? Like always had a great chin his whole career. And now you see, like, after that's been tested a couple of times, it's like, I think Volk's smart enough to not want to get knocked out again. He doesn't strike me as the kind of fighter, like, who's gonna not try to make some adjustments on that. So I'm just gonna trust him one more time. I think he's gonna be outclassing Lopez from like middle of round three to the ending bell. I can see him having struggling early, but like weathering an early storm and then like taking over late, maybe potentially getting a finish, maybe just, you know, having Lopez retreating late, but I see him doing just enough to like etch out this potential a split decision victory here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just say one thing. I do question Lopez gas tank a little bit, but I do feel like if he does the same style fight as he did with Ortega, he will draw Volk in, and I think just have the length and youth on his side to kind of just back him. As long as he doesn't like blow his load in the first round, like I think we should be okay. But I do question gas tank if it goes to the championship rounds.
I think Volk should definitely wrestle a lot. I know Lopez is a black belt, but Volk can wrestle really well, I think, and to mix in with the striking. But I feel like this is going to be very similar to the Ilya fight, where it's going to be a lot of exchanges on the feet. Volk is winning a lot of them, but they get hairier and hairier, and eventually, like he just gets caught with something that he can't recover from. But I get your reasoning, Xavier. I feel like it's either decision Volk or finish Lopez. That's the way I see it.
Facts.
But ooh, this is a fun one, man. This is a banger.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Before we move on to the co-main, the winner of this belt, the new champ at 145, new face. What is the what's in store for the winner of this fight?
Maybe Evolov.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems about right.
It seems about like he's the next guy up, man. He's got to be. Especially because no one's gonna deserve a rematch at this point. So,
Yeah,
I would say if Pitbull beats Yair, they'll give it to
oh
him.
yeah, they will slap Pitbull right in there. Like
that's
he,
true. All right, then. Let's move on, guys, to the co-main event. We got
Scat-
numbers. We got number 7, Michael Chandler versus the Scouser, Patty Pimplin, ranked number 12. Patty minus 150 favorite. I say deservingly so. It's a pretty close fight, old versus new. Clark, why don't you start us off with this one? Give us a little breakdown.
Ah, you know, Michael Chandler used to be a great fighter. Bellator great. He's done it all. I just feel like his time in the sun's kind of done. And I just feel like in a matchup versus Patty, Patty being the bigger fighter, very light on his feet, good lateral movement. I feel like he's improved his striking, you know, leaps and bounds since his debut. And I just feel like it could be effective against someone like Chandler, who I feel like at times is not very defensively sound, pretty wild, erratic. And I feel like he'll continue to do the same thing in here. I think Patty has the edge in the wrestling. Oliveira easily got him down. And I feel like Patty is on an Oliveira like level when it comes to that. So I feel like he can get Chandler down and beat him there. I feel like Chandler's only chance is like in a TKO, and that's about it, just landing a big shot. That's like all of his fights, man. Like I feel like Chandler used to be really good, just technically sound, good wrestler, would use his wrestling. Like doesn't do that anymore. Just a striker these days, and I feel like it's costing him. And y'all know how I feel about age. He's 38. 38. I just think Patty's coming into his own. I feel like he's almost like at full prime mode at this point, and I think he wins that fight. I don't know how. Like I could see him subbing him, but most likely decision type of beat.
Yeah. Um, I can kind of see it going a couple ways. I kind of agree with you that really I could see Chandler grinding out a decision here too. But I don't favor it that way just because like we said, I think that if there is a path for Chandler to win this fight, but when has Chandler's IQ ever told you that he's gonna like use the proper path to win a fight, right? Um, I see this as I see this being mostly a brawl. I think that Chandler kind of knows what he's here for at this point. I think Patty has shown that he can be exciting in there if you like bring the fight to him. He can be boring or he can be exciting depending on like his opponent. I do see Chandler trying to bring the fight to him, so I don't see this being a boring fight at all. Could be a potential fight of the night, honestly. Um, like you said about Patty's grappling, that is his biggest strength. A lot of people who are only familiar with him in the UFC don't really know, but his sub game is absolutely vicious. His jiu-jitsu is absolutely his biggest strength. And if Chandler tries to grapple and wrestle too much, I could see him getting put down, and subbed up in like, a devastating fashion, like, a star-making performance for Patty. Um, I could also see him just winning a close decision. I will probably favor the close decision, but like I'm not gonna sit here and say that like that sub is not possible. So my official prediction will be 29-28 unanimous decision.
Well, this is a 5 round fight.
Oh shit, I forgot.
Wait. You telling me it's a five rounder,
This is a
Ed?
5 round co-main event, guys. Keep that
Oh,
in mind.
that
That,
could
that
change
that's official.
That is, yeah, that's official. You guys could double check, but
See, oh my God, I was like just gonna say like if it was a five rounder, I would think about taking Chandler just because I do think Patty sometimes has the tendency to gas a little bit.
I know Chandler could push a hard five. I've seen it
yeah,
times.
But I still got to go with Pimlet, man. Team Clark, we're about to take over like 4-0 on this card. Like we're not losing. We're not losing Saturday. So honestly, I can see him subbing Chandler up. Like I
Yeah,
feel like Oliveira in the last fight had a lot of like I don't know why Oliveira wasn't going for more subs, but I feel like he had a lot of positions to do it, and he got them very easily. And I feel like someone like Patty Pimblett's level in the grappling and wrestling, I could see him getting some crazy shit in there. Like, and I know Chandler's kind of a tough guy to sub and finish, but like, if anyone's gonna do right now down there, it's a sub machine like Patty Pimblett. So I'll
especially
still
like
go with him, but
especially we have to think about like Chandler is coming off a fat layoff, waiting for that Connor shit. You know what I mean? Like so. He has to kind of like we don't know what is left of Chandler to be honest.
that's the thing, bro. Chandler looked so bad in the last fight. I just don't even know like what he's gonna look like out there right now. Patty's gonna go out there look good. I think no matter what. Even if Chandler beats him, I think Patty goes out there, proves he's at that level. Whole time.
Man, every interview I watch of Michael Chandler, I just whatever he says, I eat it up, man. He's just so inspiring. Like I believe every word he's telling me. Dude, he's just so confident in himself. He's like so honest. He like breaks down his fights. It's like funny. He's like the stand-up guy. To Chandler's defense, he has faced much better competition than Patty has. I know he's lost most of them, but he has had moments in them. And the 5 round thing, yeah, that's like, man, Patty's he does gas a bit. And his last fight, it was a submission against Bobby Green, but Bobby Green's IQ there was, or King Green's IQ there was absolutely terrible. I feel like Patty doesn't have a signature win yet. This appears to be it. I'll slightly lean Patty, but man, I'm very torn on this fight.
Hey man, all I'm saying is this man's the new Connor of the UFC in terms of aura. That's all I'm gonna say. So I need to see someone beat him.
See,
He got that British aura, the like
it,
accent, that Liverpool accent, like it's so good.
I'm gonna honestly predict. I think that like I'm gonna predict that like it might be a robbery, but that Patty's gonna win a close decision still. One where people might like be definitely arguing it's a robbery, just like the UFC pushing some agendas here. Because one, we've seen it before, and two, I can kind of see this being like a fight where like both people have moments in multiple rounds to where it's like a back and forth kind of fight. And it's kind of one of those like, how did you score that round? How did you score that round? Kind of. I don't see like very clear, definitive rounds throughout the whole fight enough to like where this can't be a close decision. So I'm scared about it. I would not bet this, but like
man,
I would not bet this fight. But I'm gonna narrowly say Patty basically wins like a narrow decision here still. 5 rounds.
I can have him sub third. We getting out of here.
Fuck yeah.
right, man.
What do you got, Ed?
I'm
Like,
thinking, I'm looking, because I'm looking at Patty's resume. His last 2 wins are King Green and Tony Ferguson. Michael
oh,
Chandler's fighting the god tier level lightweights.
can we use resumes anymore?
I
Like
don't know.
Islam's best win was Bobby Green going into that title fight, and he won. So what are we
All right.
talking about?
Oh my God, this is so hard.
Actually, the same path thing. Like it's actually the same setup. It's like,
Islam did beat Hooker though.
oh, he beat Hook, bro. Hooker can't stuff any takedown to save his life. Y'all still on this Dan Hooker hype
Hey man,
wagon. Like,
I- I'm I'm taking Michael Chandler. I have no idea how he gets it done, but he's winning this fight.
Mhm.
that is
That's what my like my mind is kind of saying, but
Michael
like
Chandler wins this fight. This is my last ticket cashing.
my heart is saying the rise of Patty. I gotta keep supporting it, man. But my mind is saying like this is a big step up in comp for Patty. And I've seen him like deal with a much like he I've seen him get smothered against the cage by a much less like capable grappler. So I'm like, damn, I don't know, man. But
This one's
the fact that it's 5 rounds and like Michael Chandler's lack of IQ also just kind of like tells me that like at some point he's gonna fuck up and probably get subbed or something. Like Michael Chandler's IQ is just one of the worst things I've ever seen, like in his UFC career, I would say at least.
oh man.
and if we're talking about resumes here in the UFC. Michael Chandler's has 2 wins. Dan Hooker, which I don't rate, and who else he beat? Oh, Tony Ferguson when he was on like a 6 fight skid already. So I don't know, man. He just
Decapitated him too, turned him into a fucking mummy. But
I,
I get what you're saying, Clark. It's just like
luck with him,
this is
man.
my last ticket cash in on Chandler.
I could see a world he wins, but he just looked like just off the last fight alone. That's why I don't want to pick Chandler whatsoever. the last fight alone just like was a bad look.
Ah, man. Yeah, I'll stick with it. I'll stick with it. Fuck them. It's a close one.
We got it. We got it. Sub in the third ed. Trust, trust. Team Clark, baby.
We'll see. Guys, let's move on. Featured fight: Yair Rodriguez, number 5 ranked featherweight versus.
Clark, can you hear him?
No.
We
You hear me?
can't.
Uh,
Now we can, but for a
Oh,
second.
what the fuck?
just
You
for
can hear
this.
me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, let's restart there.
yeah.
All right, guys, let's move on to the featured fight of the card at 145. Number 5 featherweight Yair Rodriguez taking on Bellator legend
Mhm.
Patricio Pitbull in his UFC debut. Here he is, guys. I believe he's 37, I think.
Yes. Ugh.
I say it every video, but it's one of those things like they sign a legend from another organization like 5 years too late. Like they just do this all the time. I don't know why, but shout out to them. He is here. That's what matters. Taking on Yair. Pretty interesting matchup here. Yair's I think a minus like 150 favorite or something like that. Xavier, we'll start with you. How do you feel about this one going into it?
Shit, man. I'm really fucking excited for this one, man. I've been wanting Pitbull to be in the UFC for so long. As with Chandler, man, um, these two in back-to-back fights are arguably the two Bellator goats in terms of like homegrown Bellator talent. Um, so it is pretty cool probably for these two to like be like, damn, like we're fighting like, one fight apart, like headlining like not headlining, but you know what I mean, like feature fights in a UFC pay-per-view. Like they're living the dream finally for once. Maybe a little too late, but like they're still getting to like, live the dream. So I'm happy for them. I think this is a very winnable fight for a version of Pitbull. Um, but that version was like a couple years ago, like you said. Um, Yair Rodriguez not coming off his most impressive performance, coming off that loss to Ortega back in 2024. Like February of 2024. So it's been over a year since he's been in the cage. He's coming off a fat layoff, so we don't really know where he's gonna be. So it's kind of a battle of two unknowns, more or less. We know what these guys are capable of at their best. Yeah, a very dangerous striker. Um, very capable sub game if he can catch you in something, but tends to have some wrestling deficiencies. And Patricio Pitbull, who has a pretty well-rounded game, um, pretty good everywhere. I would say in this fight, he probably his best path would be to grapple Yair, especially with me not knowing where his chin currently is. Yair could definitely tap that chin if he's like too old in there. So yeah, I think that's basically what this fight comes down to for me. I'm excited to see Pitbull in there either way, and win or lose, I hope he gives a good account for himself in there. Just so like a new crowd, a bigger crowd, like what he's capable of, because he is a legend of the sport, and in his prime, he was an absolute monster.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Pitbull in the UFC as well. Him and Chandler were definitely the big ones to grab from Bellator. They did sign him very late though. This is Pitbull in his prime destroying Yair, by the way, I think.
A-
But
Absolutely.
right now it's tough because I think this could be a very from what I've seen in Pitbull in his last few, I will say he has fought like a lot of guys Yair's size in his last few, and he's kind of been counter striking a lot from what I've noticed. And he's very good, like X said, very well rounded. Um, can take it anywhere. But if I'm Team Pitbull, man, like go back to the roots a little bit, like get some wrestling in there, like.
This is
There's
best.
a there's a path to victory in this fight I feel very clear about is anybody with decent wrestling, take Yair down and you will hold him down there for sure. And there is a path to victory for Pitbull, but I feel like he will be striking. He is naturally more of a striker. And honestly, from what I've seen in the last few, I could see Yair kind of just outstriking him a little bit from range. I feel like this comes down to like who controls the center better. Uh, and the knockout Pitbull, his loss, I feel like he was fighting. I actually watched that fight. I actually thought he was fighting pretty well. And then the guy kind of did some like weird windmill shit and then somehow got in a position where like Pitbull hit him with two good shots and then he cannoned him right down the middle. I mean, it was a pretty clean shot. So I'm not too concerned about that. I think the height and the reach is definitely the biggest concern in this fight. Um, and it's all about the distance. I think whoever controls the distance better wins this fight. It is usually Pitbull. So I'm gonna go Pitbull, man. Like I just want him to win. Like if he loses this, it feels so what do you do with him then? Like
That's a missed opportunity. Yeah,
it's just kind of weird. So I want him to win. I'm definitely rooting for him. This is definitely maybe a biased pick because I can kind of see Yair just slightly outstriking him because I don't think Pitbull has fought a striker like Yair. That's all I'll say. Probably the most creative striker he's fought. And he's just got to watch himself. Just watch for the head kicks, be disciplined, control the distance. Because that's what Pitbull is best at. But at this age, I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It would definitely be better for the UFC if Pitbull won. You get a fresh contender. He'd probably jump up right to a title shot. It'd be pretty cool. But I'm gonna go
especially
with Yair here. What's up?
I was just gonna say, especially if it's like a some kind of a finish or like a knockout, then he's gonna probably get a title shot, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If he puts you on the show with Yair, man. The thing is, I saw Pitbull fight live 2 years ago in Chicago, and dude lost to Sergio Pettis. And I just feel like that is not a good sign when you're facing a giant like Yair. Like Clark said, I think the reach and the height is going to be a big problem on the feet. And I think this fight is mostly going to be on the feet. I see Yair winning a 2-1 decision here. Even in his losses, I think Yair looks pretty impressive. I know he got subbed up by Ortega, but he was beating him up pretty bad. In the Volk fight, he looked great on the feet until Volk started mixing in the takedowns. Looked amazing against Max Holloway. So I'm gonna take Yair here by unanimous decision. I think it's just too he's gonna be too much and it's too little too late for Pitbull right now.
I could see it, man. I could see it.
But that's another sick one.
Insane.
Another insane fight. We got to move on to we're staying in the featherweight division actually. Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva.
Oh, God.
Ooh, I feel like the community's pretty split on this one.
They are.
I'm pretty split too, man.
I'm not.
The Nazi's getting fucking chinned. I'm calling it now. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now. I think that this is a punishment for his sins. Bryce Mitchell has been wilding, saying hella crazy shit. I don't even want to get into the shit that he's been saying. If you know, you know. If you don't know, go look it up. But we wanna keep this video up, you know what I mean, and not canceled. So we're gonna fucking, not address it. But Bryce Mitchell, if anyone deserves to be chinned by Gene Silva, this fucking freight train called the Fighting Nerds, it's Bryce Mitchell. And I think that that's exactly what's gonna happen here. Bryce Mitchell, there is a path. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and say that this fight is a wash. Um, Gene Silva, I think he's looked like a world beater since he's joined the UFC. Like most of these Fighting Nerds guys. And I mean, while Mitchell's last fight, he got a win. It was against Gracie, bro. Kron Gracie, who was like really only a Nepo baby. Like he's like a nepo baby, and everyone knows that. And it still took him 3 rounds to finish Chrome Gracie. Before that, he got absolutely decapitated by Josh Emmett. And I think that if Emmett's decapitating you, Gene Silva has a great chance to decapitate you, man. Um, I also think that Silva should have like the defensive grappling to like nullify a lot of Bryce's wrestling and jujitsu. So yeah, this should be a banger for as long as it lasts, but I do think that Silva's gonna probably find that chin before long and, make a lot of people on the internet very happy.
Yeah, the more I've thought about this fight, I do think it's closer than it seems. I think I could see Mitchell having some success with the wrestling. Some people have been saying Charles Jourdain got some takedowns on him. All right, he held him for like 30 seconds and then Silva got back up. From what I've seen from Silva, grappling wise, he's not the best at stuffing takedowns, but I think he's just a very big body for this weight class. And I think his get up game is very good. Like I think his sweeps are pretty good. I think he could get back to the feet. And man, if this thing stays on the feet for more than 2 minutes, the last member of Team Clark is getting a dub. Like, we are getting that knockout in style, in a big way. Like, it's probably going to be worse than Emmett. Let me tell you. Like, this man, Gene Silva, just has champion written, like, on his chest all day. Like, the aura is here. Fighting nerds. I have yet to see one of the good ones take an L. So I'm not gonna start with Bryce Mitchell.
Absolutely not.
Gene Silva KO in this man, but I could see a world where maybe Bryce Mitchell fraud checks through wrestling and holds them, but I don't see it. I think Gene Silva gets this TKO. He, I think he'll have to face it a little bit, but I think he'll get back up and take care of business.
Yeah, I'm extremely torn on this fight, I'll be honest, guys. It's definitely because a lot of the videos I'll be watching, I hear both arguments from both sides. Bryce Mitchell is huge, man, and like he has a big size advantage on Silva. I think his grappling is much better than Silva's, but Silva's stand up is levels above Mitchell. Oh, this is a really hard one. Obviously, it'd be nice to see Mitchell get decapitated again. It does seem like karma, but it also seems like he has the plot armor. Like it would just be such a meme if he won this fight.
It would be a meme.
Oh my God. But the fighting nerds plot armor.
It's unbeatable right
Yeah,
now.
I'm gonna take Gene Silva. I think he gets the knockout. Yeah, he finds the knockout. It's the big moment. Like Mitchell gets knocked out. I'm gonna ride with that. Yeah.
I
Mitchell.
just also feel
I
like
mean Silva.
I feel like Silva's also just very complete at this point. Like for what he is as a striker, like very complete fighter.
Ah man, I don't know, that's a tough one, but let's move on, guys.
Mm.
Uh to the opener. We got Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes, 8 versus 11. I'll start with this one. Sorry guys, the Dominic Reyes hype train, little fun comeback story, completely ends here. Krylov finishes him. I hate to say it, guys. I think Krylov is really good, super underrated. He doesn't fight a lot, but I think he's definitely a top guy in the division. I know that's not saying much because this division sucks, but I think he runs through Dominic Reyes. I think he poses a lot of problems to him on the feet. He has really good grappling. I think so. I think also. And Reyes, man, Hoovers wins, bro. Jacoby and Anthony Smith. This is a big step up for him. I'm gonna go Krylov here by finish.
Yeah, I would rather just, I have been having a little fun with this whole resurgence of Dominic Reyes' story. But like you said, like who were his last two wins against really? In 2022, Krylov knocked out Gustafsson. I mean, then he beat Ozdemir and then he fucking sub Span. So it's like these are one better, all better fighters than the two that Reyes beat, and like he's finishing these guys. So nothing about Reyes, like outside of like his recent two fights, like has shown me that like his chin is fixed. You know what I mean? He hasn't been like getting that chin tested, and I think that that chin will be put to work in this fight, and I can see him getting finished, maybe second round at least. I do think he's going to be a little careful, but I think that eventually Karloff will catch him with something and probably knock him out. To be honest,
And I can't stop laughing. Like Krylov is like gatekeeping a barely fights, and he fights like everyone underranked guy. He never fights up in the rankings, I swear. This guy's the greatest. He's just like holding on to the eighth spot and just like fighting everyone. I'm going Krylov. Like I think he's pretty decent. I don't know why he doesn't fight up in the rankings ever. Um,
they know his ceiling, man. They know his role.
I mean, I wouldn't take him over guys above him. Maybe Jan at this point. Let's be real. Maybe,
Who? Jan?
maybe Jan, but
I would not. I'm not gonna lie. I would
maybe
not.
Jan.
Yeah,
But
it's close.
Krylov, I feel like has a path to victory in this fight. I think if he uses his wrestling, he will easily run through this fight. I think on the feed they're somewhat even. I think Krylov might have the slight power edge, but it's pretty close. I just think Krylov probably beats him everywhere in this fight. I I think Reyes' only chance is clipping him, which I think he could. I think Reyes has the power to do that, but it's just a big step up in comp. I think Krylov's pretty good. I don't think he's really better than anyone else in the top eight, but I think he's good enough to gatekeep this fight.
Guys, let's move on to the prelims. We can start at the top. This last card on the prelims is actually really good. Dan Ige, number 15 at featherweight, taking on Sean Woodson. Woodson a minus 170 favorite. Woodson kind of a freak of nature. A lot of people are talking about how he's like really legit. How do you guys see this one going?
I mean, Woodson has great boxing. And like you said, his frame is insane, man. The
Yeah.
guy, he's a damn near an alien, man. He's a featherweight, but like I don't know exactly how tall he is, but like he's tall and lanky as fuck. He's like he has like super long legs and like a very like tiny torso. It's like he's built very weird, man. But that weird build is great for teeps and it's great for crispy boxing, which he has. Boxing from distance, obviously, because he's just a long fucker. On the other side, we have Dan Ige, who, even though he's getting up there, he went 3 rounds with Lopez, which how many people can say that? He went 3 rounds and made a real close fight out of the Lerone Murphy in his last fight. So even though he's been losing to these up and coming killers, like he has been like accounting well for himself. So he's a great gatekeeper in this division. And he also is a boxing based fighter. So I think that this one's gonna basically play out as a boxing match. I think that it's going to be a question of can Ige close the distance and get inside of Woodson's reach, or can Woodson kind of pick him apart from the outside? What's Sean Woodson's last fight? Let me check real quick. Oh, he
Isn't it
fucking beat.
Caceres?
No, he beat Padilla, Fernando Padilla
Oh,
after that. But yeah, before that, Caceres. Before that, Charles Jourdain. So I mean, these are some quality wins. This is definitely the biggest step up in comp for him. I mean, like the best opponent he's fought in the cage so far, most experience. So this is a big test for him. I think he can pass it just because Ige's biggest strength is also his biggest strength, and I think also like his size advantage. Like if he has to, I think he should be able to like clinch up Ige, maybe throw some knees to the body, kind of like hold Ige's hands above his head a little bit against the cage a little bit, land some knees to the body, and kind of like edge out a close decision. I see like a 29-28 decision here for Woodson.
Yeah, I
He
can
might
see
get
that.
clipped in one of the rounds and have to like battle back, but I think that when they're both fresh and when they're both like at their best, the youth and the size and the length should like carry him to a dub here.
Yeah, I agree. I think fresh and at range, I think Sean Woodson wins this fight. Um, I think it's just kind of a bad matchup for Ige. I think Sean Woodson's a very crisp boxer, has about a 7 inch reach advantage on him. He's 6'2", like pretty big for this weight class. And he's at this point in his prime, he's 32 years old. Maybe he'll get a little better, but I mean, he's pretty crisp right now. And I just think he beats Ige. Ige mainly just a boxer. I think Woodson will have the teeps at range the whole time. I think he'll have the kicking edge. And I think if Ige can break Sean's rhythm a little bit, maybe go for some takedowns and not get him, pin him against the fence, dirty boxing, stuff like that. I think it could be a closer fight. But I kind of see this playing at range for Woodson, and I think he'll dial some stuff up on Ige, but Ige could definitely win. You know, good gatekeeper for sure. It showed up well in these fights, but man, they are not giving this man any break with these
I was
matches.
about to say, man, his resume is crazy.
Facts.
Like
Like
win
these
or
are
loss, win or
tough.
lose.
These are just tough, and I feel like Woodson just looks so good coming into this fight. It's kind of the momentum thing. Same with Patty. Like I'm going with momentum here. And I think stylistically, it favors Woodson to win this kind of fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Woodson getting a unanimous decision, maybe even a shutout. But shout out Danny Ige, man. Anything else, guys? Pretty decent prelims. We got Xiaonan versus Jandaroba, Miller versus
Man,
Hooper,
we can talk about this Yan Xiaonan fight real quick, man.
one
Yeah.
versus three.
One versus fucking three, man. Jandaroba, her grappling, really dangerous. She subbed up Lemos in her last fight. Before that, she beat Lupi Godinez. Like Godinez, especially, like I rate her pretty highly. So like, she was able to like control Lupi a decent amount, and that impressed me. And Jandaroba, man, she's been around forever. She's only lost three times in her career. So I mean, like, she's on the rise, man. She's trying to make a run. And then Yan Xiaonan, fuck, my bad. I'm not trying to butcher her name, bro. It's a little difficult tongue twister right now, but she's coming up. She's coming against her, coming off her win against Tabitha Ricci, and then before that, she accounted really well for herself against Whaley. Even had Whaley kind of struggling at some moments in that fight. Some adversity that she had to face, like grit through. So I'm surprised to see the odds being what they are. Um, Yan Xiaonan's like a slight dog here, and I'm like, this is at best a pick 'em, but I kind of think that Yan Xiaonan, based on like how she literally did against the champ, should be favored in this fight. I'm gonna take her as a dog here, man. I just think that um after feeling the top pressure and the grappling of Whaley, I think that she's gonna like go make adjustments. I feel like she's a fighter that's really good at sticking to her game plan. And I can see her like maybe even getting taken down, maybe control for like a round, but not getting finished down there. And I can see her like having the bigger moments on the feet, maybe clipping Jandaroba coming in and just like doing like slightly enough damage to like etch out a pretty close decision, competitive decision. So I'm gonna say Yan Shao now with this slight upset 29-28 decision here, bro. And I think this should be a banger like in the women's strawweight division.
Yeah, it's a great fight. I'm gonna also take Jan.
Yeah,
Right? What the
I literally would take bro. This is like the best value underdog pick I think you can find on this card.
fuck?
A lot of them are close, but this one I think, like you said, X, I think strength is a big factor in this fight. Like how strong Jandaroba will be on these takedowns, because I feel like Janjanan did very well against Wei Li, who is very strong. And I do not want Jandaroba to be the champion of this division. Like I honestly like she's very boring, to
Well,
say,
she ain't beating Whaley.
huh?
I said, well, she ain't beating Whaley, even if she gets past this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Whaley's gonna move up. I'm honestly surprised this kind of isn't the vacant title fight. I thought Whaley would have moved up by now, but I guess this is a number one contender fight for sure. I just like Yan Shanon's game. I think she's improving every fight she's out there. And I feel like Janarova's only way to win is just hold her down, and that's about it. Like, I feel like outside of that, like, she has nothing for Yan on the feet. And it being a 3 round fight, I could see Yan Janan just edging her out for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Want to talk about this
This
Jim
Hooper
Miller
fight.
Chase Hooper? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally old versus young.
The fight that I definitely swore already happened, like before we started the pod, we were talking about this fight, and I was like, didn't like Chase Hooper just beat the shit out of him and sub him up? Turns out, no, it wasn't Fleck. It was in fact Clay Guida, but I think that like this fight was probably scheduled at some point and it just didn't happen. So I kind of just assumed that it did happen and that Chase Hooper subbed up Jim Miller, but it's happening now. And I think that the result will be kind of the same. Chase Hooper has kind of really been coming into his own recently. And like while you can never count out old man Jim, especially on the ground, I think that Chase Hooper's grappling is a bit of a another level right now. And like with him rounding out his striking and kind of developing a little bit of power and grown man strength, like I just think that this is like a pretty decently tailor-made matchup for Hooper, like someone who's gonna primarily want to grapple and like I think we're gonna see some interesting scrambles before like Chase Hooper probably finds a second round sub.
Yeah, I agree.
This is leaning to Chase Hooper sub all day. I think that once this fight gets to the ground, he'll find it. I think Jim Miller's been sub before. Jim's no scrub on the ground for sure, but Chase Hooper, I think, different level down there. Coming into his own, finally getting that man strength. And once again, Jim Miller is 41. He is 41.
Yeah, it's time,
Hey
man.
man,
Four fight winning streak for Hooper.
he's got to be like matched up against like aging legends. Like you can't give him these like this is like a clear like the UFC wants Chase Hooper to win this fight
Yeah,
too.
it's so obvious.
Last thing I want to touch on was just fucking well, one shout out Shadikas Dumas, man. I
From
feel like
Chicago,
This
right?
is me.
that's been a bit of a decent fight. But like shout out Trayshawn Gore, man. I would have thought he would have been out of the UFC by now, to be honest. Man has not been panning out for him. And he's fighting against Marco Tulio.
It's a tough fight.
Yeah, I don't know if I like I don't think that I don't know if I would he might be just getting sacrificed here, man, for his name value, to be honest. But I hope that he at least like accounts well for himself in there because like I just like to see those guys, man. I watched that season of Tough Heavy and like I like to see those guys thriving, man. Shout out Brian Battle doing the damn thing, man. But like I kind of like just like to see guys from that little season like still in the UFC doing their shit. You know what I mean? So shout out him, man, for like still being here and being on a pay-per-view undercard.
All right, guys. Before we wrap it up, give me a performance of the night bonus and a fight of the night bonus.
I'm gonna go fight of the night, Chandler Patty, because I think that that's just gonna be the fact that that's 5 rounds too. Like that's gonna be like all action, like It's like even if it's like some lulls in the action because they're both kind of gassed for a second, need a break. It's gonna be mostly chaos. Um, Patty has grit and he has like pride, and I think that Chandler's gonna try to march forward and like bully him in there. And I kind of see Patty like trying to at least match the fucking energy. So fight of the night, Patty, Patty Chandler, and then performance of the night. John Silva when he absolutely decapitates Bryce Mitchell, man. I think it's gonna be something like crazy, some highlight shit, and I think that like you're gonna have to give him performance bonus.
I'm gonna go fight of the night, Yair versus Pitbull,
Fuck yeah.
and then performance of the night, all the members of Team Clark, Bez, Pimblett, and Silva all getting finishes Saturday. So, but if I had to pick one out of those, I would say Lopez.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fight of the night, Chandler and Piblin and performance Lopez. Fire card.
Might
This
be
is a
perform
sick one.
might be performance fucking Volk. How about that? He might be styling on Lopez by the end of this, if my vision is correct.
It very well could be. It's basically a pick 'em. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this UFC 314 preview. Please check out the TikTok and our previous videos. Thank you for the recent support and see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.